I think the thing that distresses and terrifies me the most is the idea of wasted potential. For my entire life, people have been telling me, you have such great potential. You're going to go on to do all these great things. And, they have all these expectations about what I'm going to do and what I'm going to accomplish. But really, I feel like recently I haven't been directing my efforts and my abilities, my talents towards actualizing that potential in any sort of way that really matters to me. I'd say I've supplanted and replaced any sort of effort towards, pursuing goals that really do matter to me and really do fulfill me with sort of just empty and vapid academic validation. And I think this really started kind of when I was pretty young. I've always known since I was very little that I was very intelligent. And I don't know, like that sounds pretentious to say, but I don't know any other way to say it. Like it's just true. All the tests and all the evaluations that they did on me sort of corroborates that, as well as just like my academic performance. But when you have very potent academic and intellectual gifts, a lot of people, they're very congratulatory. They're like, wow, you're so smart, you're doing so well in school, all these things. And it makes you feel good, right? It makes you feel smart, it makes you feel special. And so for a lot of people, they kind of just like farm these good feelings, they farm this positive validation by just, doing well in school, exerting themselves that way, and applying their intelligence in that regard. And that's kind of what I did. I never really tried between like elementary school and high school. I never really needed to. But then when I reached university, I realized, hey, I'm kind of reaching sort of the ends of my ability to just kind of like wing it and still do well. So I started to put in more effort, and my abilities still carried me through. I was able to put in effort, and I graduated top of my class. I received all these awards. I got all these accolades, which indicated that I was this very driven, intelligent person. And everybody around me is congratulating me. They're saying, wow, you did this, you did that. You're going to have such a bright future. But at the end of it, I can say that it didn't really mean anything to me. Like it's, as I said, it's just empty and sort of vapid academic validation. And so I sort of had this crisis where I realized, all these things from which I derived meaning and from which I derived value, I realized they don't really mean that much to me, and that I haven't really been exerting my efforts and my talents towards anything that really matters to me. And that's what scares me about wasted potential is, what if I spend my whole life, directing my focus and spending my time building something that is someone else's dream that I don't even care about. Like I spent all this time, putting up this crazy academic performance, getting the best grades, getting all these awards, getting these recognitions, but did I even really care about it in and of itself, or did I just care about the validation that it gave me? And I think really it was the latter that was my primary motivating factor, which is unfortunate because, to put in that much effort to something that at the end of the day you don't really care about is pretty tragic. But people say to me now, they're like, oh, I can't wait to see where you go. I'm sure you're going to be successful. Well, I think their idea of success for me, for what they envision my success to look like, is different from how I envision it. They envision my success as, getting some prestigious job, or, getting hired by a prestigious or selective company or things like that. But really that doesn't interest me at all. I'd rather be spending my time building something that I actually care about, because I've spent so much of my life chasing these awards and accolades that matter to other people, but in the end don't really matter to me. And, I'm scared that if I don't change course, if I don't take radical action to sort of redirect the way I'm spending my time and what I'm focusing on, I can end up spending my whole life, chasing after these sort of superficial status symbols that everybody else might think is cool, or that, might seem impressive on the outside, but are really just very empty and sort of soul crushing to me. My dream is not to become like some senior engineer at some company, My dream is not like I'm not going to bed being like, wow, I really hope OpenAI hires me. I really hope that Google hires me. It'd be so cool to work there. Like that doesn't excite me at all, and neither does the prospect of becoming some super good engineer who slowly raises his total compensation year over year. Like, if that's the best that I can do, if that's the furthest that my talents, my abilities can take me, that's pretty sad because at the end of the day, all that means is that I've just optimized the shit out of building someone else's dream. Uh, some people might not want to look at it this way, but if you're working as like an engineer at a company, really all you're doing is optimizing the procedure of building someone else's dream, building someone else's idea. And that's just not palatable to me. I'd rather be pursuing my own thing and fail, or at least fail in a material sense where, I'm not measuring up to people's expectations of material success. I'd rather do that than get all the material success in the world, but find that I've been spending my time and directing my energy towards things that I just frankly don't care about, because I've spent too much of my own time pursuing things that other people thought were important, that other people thought were impressive, and in so doing, I've gained validation, but I have not really done anything that's impressed myself or sort of actualized my goals that I have for what I want to do. So I mean, I guess the question that follows there is, what do you want to do? And that's the question I still have to figure out and resolve for myself. But what I know I don't want to do is I don't want to spend my whole time working for some company and just min-maxing the political system of that company to try to rise as much as I can or increase my compensation as much as I can. If that's the best that I can do with my abilities, if that's all I have to look forward to, at that point, bro, like I'm just gonna go join the military. Like, at least in the military, I can just kind of, I could probably be some sort of technician and kind of chill out and just sort of sit on the base and LARP. And I think I'd probably get more fulfillment out of that than just like playing the gamified corporate system. But in all seriousness, though, what I really do want to do is I want to build something of my own, whether it's a business or something in that regard. I want to build something that's mine, build something that I'm motivated to work on and to improve and to scale and to bring into reality, to transmute from a thought that I have and bring it into the real world, bring it into material reality. That's really the only thing that I get excited about. And, that's what I want to spend my time doing. And if I have to choose between being unsuccessful or being, or underachieving, so to speak, in pursuing something that's mine and that I own, rather than being more materially or conventionally successful, following a path where I'm just building someone else's dream, I'm building someone else's project, and I'm just a cog in their machine, I would choose the lack of material success for the ownership of what it is that I'm working on, and for the satisfaction of knowing that I'm working for myself. I'm working for something that matters to me, that I care about. I guess the whole point of the video that I'm trying to make is that I've spent so much time sort of aligning my goals and my actions towards achieving things that really didn't mean anything to me at all. And I'm afraid that if I don't really take drastic action and change the way that I'm approaching this, that I'll end up continuing to do that, and it'll make me miserable, because I've realized now, at the end of university, like I don't really find validation or fulfillment from all my academic achievements. It doesn't really mean anything to me, and other people might think it's impressive, but I don't really think it is. And so, yeah, I don't know. It almost sort of feels like all this time I spent in school and academia was sort of wasted potential. I wonder where I would be if I'd directed my efforts towards something that really did matter to me. How different would everything look right now? But, there's no point in dwelling on the past, but for lack of a better term, it's got me dwelling on the future of, I've made these mistakes in the past. I've not been prioritizing the right things. How do I make sure that going forward, I am prioritizing the right things? Because if I don't make that change, if I'm not able to learn from my past mistakes, I'm just going to be doomed to repeat them, and I'm going to keep working on stuff that doesn't matter. And I just feel like it's really going to be very, very soul crushing. It's going to be very denigrating to the spirit. And I just don't think I can do 40 years of that. I have to do something that matters to me. And if I can't find meaning in what other people can offer me, then I have to invent my own meaning. And that's easier said than done, but I think that's the project that I have to dedicate myself to, and that's what I have to dedicate my work and my time and my efforts towards. But I don't even know if I was coherent in this video. I think I got my point across more or less, but let me know what you guys think. Do you guys have similar feelings? Can you relate at all to what I've talked about? Whether it be the academic validation or building things and striving towards things that don't even matter to you but matter to other people. Let me know. Am I just crazy? Am I just LARPing? I don't know. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments on that. But yeah, other than that, y'all take care. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one.